Here's one concrete example of this phenomenon. As a large is an example of this collective acting. I've heard many people who were in some way bullied as children in school and stuff, and they always try to make someone aware of this, because there's no chance you can end this on your own. It's not about being strong or not caring what other people say. If they set themselves to nail someone, they will. And ignoring has never worked, because that's one of their weapons. You can't, as a single person, ignore a group. A group can ignore a single person, freeze them out. It's a kind of collective torture. They all have made some. They all make some specific reflections. How can people not notice this? How can they miss out something that's so obvious, so completely in front of them? How can they not see what people are doing to me? And no matter how much they try to make people aware of this, they still won't even make a comment until they really freak out or act out, or rage out, or confront someone, say, this is actually happening. Then the reaction comes. It's an entirely different reaction than this person expected, because the reaction will be towards this one who's been the target of the treatment, the bullying, or whatever. And then the teacher boss will strike down on this person who were the target of it, not against the activities. I really don't like this kind of talking, that you're saying these things of your about the other children, and they may even get punished for speaking about these things. It sounds, of course, it sounds very cruel. I don't want to be the one standing up for these spineless authorities, teachers or whatever. they should really do something. I mean, bullying is never acceptable behavior, and they will definitely agree to this, even those teachers, and they would strike down against this activities, but not against the bully, but they strike down on the victim. The victim is usually seen as the problem, the villain, and so my point is not that I like to put them in defense for punishing someone for being bullied, but rather I try to understand the cognitive mechanisms, and again, I think it has to do with those social movements. It's not about so much what is right or wrong with regards to either individual or collective values or something. It's more like it's a movement, and it's about adaption, and we are a social species. This person who, for whatever reason, will not or cannot adapt, that's usually completely irrelevant, the reason. It's just that this person does not adapt. That is the problem. And the bullying activities is seen as more like indicator something is wrong. I try to tell this person you don't fit in, and that is the problem. And it goes so far outside all rational and logical concepts when you look at it from the outside, because everyone reading about such a case in a book would be agree to 100% that this is not acceptable. I would never tolerate this. I would never see anything like this without reacting. The fun thing is that as soon as this actually happens, every time it does, it's always something completely different. Yeah, no, she's told me this 1,000 times. She's bullied and unfairly treated and all this shit. You know, and they always have some explanation to no wonder that they are afraid of her, or that they don't like her. Have you seen how she holds the fork or hold the pencil? Strange clothes, whatever. Okay, there's no excuse for beating someone, but you should understand them, right? And as long as they keep themselves within some certain boundaries, we don't beat each other, we don't steal from each other, and we do not break any not only written rules, but that's the thing, that there are some things that never even need to be written down, because it's structural, and not only into the outer structure, but it's probably some kind of projection of our inner structure, not mine but yours. I really, I mean, in this aspect, I am different, not because I have more courage or anything like that, nor strong inner values. On the contrary, I'm only more rational and not really. I'm more primitive species, perhaps. Paleolithic. Kind. This is one of the subjects I will return to. Really torn down to more and more narrow paths, but I will return to this because seems like I'm losing the red thread. So now I'm speaking about the normal modern human who is actually hardwired for adaption. It's not because those people are dysfunctional that they can't see what is obviously right in front of them. It's more like the hyper-functional. I mean, this is the kind of human that has survived. The evolutionary most fitted one. We wouldn't have built all this greatness if we hadn't have this great majority, these masses that are wired to do exactly what they're told to do. And in most cases, even if I observe something being wrong, I know why it is wrong, and for that reason I can live with it. It's just that sometimes the price is much too high. I mean, if 100 people says that this wall, this green wall, is blue, and they ask me what color, green, obviously, and everyone starts laughing, and they tell me, it's blue, and we may argue about this. The point is not figuring out exactly what kind of color, and I'm colorblind, so fuck it all. But it's about adaption and accepting that we've agreed upon this. And yeah, whatever, okay, it is blue. That's no big deal, colorblind or not. Even if they tell me it's made out of bricks, where it's actually limestones. So that's okay. But sometimes the price becomes too big for me or for someone else. It's not only about agreeing about the color of a wall, but it becomes a matter of human lives that some people are supposed to sacrifice themselves, not even for the greater good. Sometimes it's completely irrational too. It's just about adaption for the sake of it, only for keeping this image up. That's there's nothing wrong. The movement says, and therefore it's right, and you're supposed to adapt. And when human sacrifices, human suffering, or animals for that sake, becomes necessary only to maintain this image, this illusion, then there's that is some kind of very clear line. Then the whole situation has become really toxic, dangerous, and you can't be expected to accept it then, especially as the price really becomes beyond all reasons. Nobody should be expected to sacrifice their lives for something that doesn't even contribute with anything valuable to anyone. Just some kind of fungal infection, social cancer or something. And I think this is, I mean, of course, this is human, and it will keep happening in any society. The big difference is that in a fairly democratic and modern society, we have this possibility to repair things. That's a big difference, and that when it becomes dangerous, not when shit happens, but when we let shit happen without reacting. And this is an indicator something being way out in the wild. This is indicating that something is, that there is a threat. Then it's ourselves being that threat. Something is going on that shouldn't be allowed to happen, and when you realize that you don't really have that opportunity anymore to keep silent, and especially on these occasions when it strikes down on yourself, and the alternative is just laying down and die, because all other alternatives have been cut. It's giving up everything or die fighting. It's not about being brave, it's being out of alternatives.